Yo, what is up, guys? Mike Thomas, aka the Young Trishler here, and we are back once again with Twitch chat, and we have just accomplished something absolutely fantastic and also pretty unhinged. We have made it once again to Master 1. If you're unfamiliar with our Twitch content, we take a lot of different decks up to Master 1, just run the ladder over and over and over again. And we have done this, of course, with the recent best deck, Superheavy Samurai, but there's something wrong with my Superheavy Samurai deck. So I kind of just want to share this accomplishment with you guys. But before we hop into the video, I need you guys to do two quick things for me, and the first is to remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Our videos have been doing very, very well recently, and you guys are to thank for that. So just keep doing what you're doing, like, comment, subscribing, and yeah, it helps us out a lot. Also, remember to go down into the description down below and use our linky to download the Yu-Gi-Oh deck tracker for Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel. It's made by the same people who did the deck tracker for stuff like Hearthstone, Magic the Gathering Arena, and Marvel Snap. Super cool program. It's totally free, and you know, it lets you do cool stuff like share and share your deck lists and also track your statistics. So super useful. Super useful. You've heard me talk about it a million times. Whatever. You guys want to see the deck list? This deck list is crazy. So you can see this is our alternate account that we've gotten to Master 1. I've left our win-loss ratio on the screen. So we won 124 games and lost 35 from account creation to Master 1. And so the thing that was unique about our deck is that we played 3 copies of Superheavy Samurai Steam Train King, which is from the anime. If you don't know, this card is the say hello to the pain train, baby. This card is ridiculous. So if you don't know what this card is, this card is very bad. It is just a 4800 beat stick it just swings. That's really all it does. And the idea is that you're supposed to summon this out and equip soul horns to it, so it attacks twice. So like if you get max seed or droll or something, you can just quickly lethal your opponent when you're going second. And it has an effect where you can discard cards from your hand to pop that number of cards on your opponent's field up to 2. So the idea is that you just like quickly break apart a board and like swing at them. We only did that 4 times, and even when we did that, we never used the soul horns. Soul horns was completely useless in this deck. It literally never came up. Ever. It literally never came up. But we did beat 4 opponents with the Steam Train. So it was definitely worth it. But Twitch chat forced me to play 3 of these. So this is the deck list that we played all the way to Master 1 on this account, and it was just very ridiculous. But I'm not going to talk about this deck list too much because it was just kind of a joke, kind of a meme. But I will talk about the deck in general because a lot of people probably want a deck list for this deck, and the deck list is pretty similar to the Choo Choo Train list, just, you know, like with slightly better cards than the Choo Choo Train. No hatred to the Choo Choo Train, but I'm gonna just go through this the way I always do. I'm just gonna start with the cards that make the most sense to me because we can't sort our decks in Master Duel, and yeah. Let's just hop into this. So we played 3 Motorbike. This is the Rota of the deck. It searches basically everything, and you just pitch it from your hand to search. We played 3 Soul Piercer. This is also Rota for the deck, but it is not a once per turn at all. And so the idea of Superheavy Samurai is that you summon Soul Piercer, and then you summon Soul Piercer, and then you summon Soul Piercer, and you get the idea. You search your whole deck. You just get access to everything. So looping this card is kind of the main strategy. We played 3 Superheavy Samurai Wagon. This is also the Rota of the deck. I think you might be sensing a theme here. This deck has a lot of Rotas, a lot of 1-card combos. So Wagon can search. It doesn't search for all of them in the same way that Bike and Soul Piercer does, but it can search Soul Piercer, which means it can search all of them. So, you know, it's kind of just another copy of Soul Piercer. Then we played 3 Wakaushi. Wakaushi is one of the new broken scales that this deck got, which made this deck meta relevant. So what Wakaushi does is you can scale it to special it and then play another scale from your deck into your pendulum zone. And the one that you're trying to activate is Big Benkai, which is the Rota of the deck. It is just like Wagon. It can search the Soul Piercers, which means that it can search every card in your deck. So let's count the number of cards that search every card in your deck. It is Motorbike, so that's 3. Soul Piercer is 3. Wagon is 3. So that's 9. Wakaushi is 3. Because it gets you to Big Benkai. So that's 12. Big Benkais make 14. Am I missing any of them, Twitch chat? I don't know. I guess Soul Piercer technically counts, so that's like 15. Like literally half the deck is just one card combos. Literally half the deck is just one card search anything in your deck and then just summon Soul Piercer over and over and over and over and over again to just search the rest of your deck. So that's kind of what's going on here. As for the one-ofs, we play a few of them. We play Stealthy. Stealthy is really, really good because it's the only one that can just special summon itself for free. And why that's really important is that in your normal combo, you're setting up a Baron. But the Baron is your, I want to say, 6th summon. So what's really cool about this is that you want to search that Stealthy right as you're about to go into Baron. Because if you do... like if they do nib you because they have to because you're about to make a Baron, if they nib you there, you just summon Stealthy and then you equip it with Soul Piercer and then you just continue comboing from there. So this card is fantastic, and it's just a free extender as well. Soul Piercer, I ended up cutting this down to 1. We started at 3 of this and slowly worked our way down to 1. And the reason for just playing the 1 copy of this card, because I think 3 is still good. Like any number of this card is good because this card is just an extender. It's also a soft starter. But we ended up just cutting it down and down and down to fit more hand traps because really the only deck that we were fearing throughout the climb was just the mirror match. And in the mirror match, you just wanted to open as many hand traps as humanly possible. So that's why I'm not playing more of this. So if you see people playing more of this, maybe they just value being able to play the game a little bit more than we do. For the other one-ofs, we played Soul Gaia Booster. Soul Gaia Booster is just another extender. You equip it to a guy, summon himself out from the equip zone, and he's just a level 4 extender. So he's really nice because, if you get ashed or something when you're trying to make your Baron, you can search him and use him to like go into your Baron anyway. So yeah, he's really, really nice. And then Scales is probably one of the best cards in the deck. So the reason why Scales is good is that this is your Monster Reborn. He can also summon himself when you're going second. So like if you're going second into a board and you have Bike, you can go like Bike, search Scales, summon Scales, Scales, summon back Bike, Bike increases level, and then go into the Excel and then into a Baron and that'll force out something. Or you can go into like Merrymaker into Sargus Zeus. So he's just a really good card, but you're usually making this as part of your normal combo as like a Monster Reborn so that you can make a Link 2 and trigger your Soul Piercer again. So this is usually what you're summoning from your deck with the Soul Peacemaker. So this card is very, very, very strong. And so you might notice that there's a few other cards in here that are not related to the Super Heavy engine, and those are the Ancient Gearbox and the Infinitrack Tunneler, which form a package with Ancient Gear Ballista. So normally what you do to start your combo is you're going to get to a game state where you have Baron on the field with the Scarecrow Link 1 that's already used this effect. You're going to equip Soul Piercer or Soul Gaia, not Soul Gaia, I can't even think of the name. Soul Peacemaker. You're going to equip this one to it, tribute it off, summon the Scales. Scales gives back Soul Piercer, and then you link into Ballista. And Ballista is really good, and some people don't like realize how good this card is. This card is fantastic because it's a Link 2 that replaces the material that you invest to make it, right? Because it searches Ancient Gear Box, and then Box searches Tunneler. So you get 2 searches off of making this card, plus the search with Infinitrack, or not Infinitrack, with Soul Piercer. So you search 3 monsters by summoning this. And then you're going to obviously have to like summon another guy like your Stealthy to go into your Clyfort Genius. But that's fine because you search 3 monsters. You replace the material that you're using to make the Genius, so it's completely fine. And it's really, really good because Infinite Track Tunneler is a Pot of Avarice. And something that this deck can struggle with if you don't play this package is that because you search so much in this deck, and you search literally every card in your deck, if your opponent finds a way to break your board, you might realize that you have like no follow-up because all of your stuff is in graveyard. So what makes the Tunneler really good, other than the fact that you're drawing 2 cards, digging from our hand traps to boost your board, is that like you're recycling your entire deck. So you can just do everything that you did on turn 1 over again on turn 2. You can literally repeat the same turn 1 combo on turn 2, and that just makes this deck completely broken. So highly recommend that you play this engine. You know, some people don't like drawing the box, but like I think it's just way too good to cut. We tried cutting it for a little bit, and those games were just miserable, and we just quickly put that back in. So definitely play these. And then for the rest of the deck's pretty simple. It's just hand traps because we can't play spells, we can't play traps, you know, because of the restrictions. Oh, I'm sorry, I glossed over one card, and that's Super Heavy Samurai General Coral. A lot of people ask me why I play this. General Coral is good because it is searchable off of the Ancient Gearbox. So sometimes, you know, if you're playing through Disruption, you might not be able to like get your scales in the way that you normally do. Like you might not be able to synchro off your Wakaushi to like rescale it. And sometimes you need extra monsters. Like you don't want to like have to search another Wakaushi and scale it. So having the General Coral there as like a box target for a scale is really, really nice. Also, the fact that, you know, if you draw double Benki, you can still go Wakaushi and scale something. That's really nice. Yeah, there's just a ton of different uses that this card has. It's also a Necroz of Valkyris on the field where you can just tribute 2 guys and like draw cards. That came up once or twice for us where like we kind of just bricked, and I had General Coral, and I was like, all right, I'll normal summon General Coral. Coral effect, tribute itself, and then you draw Bike, and it's like, oh, okay, Bike effect. All right, that's full combo. So you know, multi-purpose card, pretty cool. But moving on to the hand traps, we played 3 Ash, obviously, because this is the only card that you have to beat Max C. A lot of people say, oh, no, you have Gamma too. Well, anyone with half a brain cell is not going to shotgun Max C against you. I say that fully knowing that I'm playing Master Duel. But at the same time, you know, this card shouldn't be protecting you from Maxi in most scenarios. So really, you only have the Ash Blossoms to protect you, so you need to play these. Of course, you play 3 Maxi because it's just the best card in the game. We also play 3 Droll and Lockbird because in the mirror match, this card is as good as Maxi. It just ends their turn. Actually, this card might be better than Maxi in the mirror. There were a few games where I just discarded Maxi and just kept a Droll in my hand because I needed a discard. And you know, like this card is just insane. Like the mirror cannot play through this card at all. Similarly, we played 2 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit because this card is very good in the mirror as well. And you know, like you can use it to hit the Scarecrow on the Reborn because it has to summon to the zone it points to. You can hit it on the Big Benki. You can hit it on Wakaushi. Like you can hit it on a lot of cards. So Ghost Ogre is really, really strong. It can also hit the Wagon as well, which is nice. So this card's crazy. Gamma is also just an FTK for Scarecrow. So if you were wondering why we play Gamma, if nobody's gonna like play into Gamma, like with Maxi, you play it because if you Gamma the Scarecrow in the mirror match, you just instantly win the game. It's very, very hard to recover through that. So very, very good. Similarly, DD Crow is played for the Scarecrow in the mirror, because if you Scarecrow hit their Soul Piercer, it might be difficult for them to actually recover. So DD Crow is pretty good. It's actually a lot better than you'd think. And something that didn't come up too much for me, but theoretically does come up, is Labyrinth is seeing a bit more play right now because they can go activate one of the Labyrinth furniture cards, pitch the 5 Rainbow Magician against you, which if 5 Rainbow Magician activates against your deck, there's no out. You just concede immediately. Like, you just immediately concede the game to that card because it is a permanent skill drain that you can never turn off. And you have no spell traps in the deck, so it's just horrific. So what's nice is if they do try to, Labyrinth Furniture, pitch the Rainbow Magician and then rescale it, you can DD Crow it out of the graveyard and protect yourself from that, which is really nice. Same thing with like Scythe Locks and stuff like that. And then I played 1 Ghost Spell. Some people played 2 or more of this. I wasn't really sure. This was like my 3rd DD Crow basically. But the idea is that it also protects you against opposing DD Crows and against Call by the Grave. Because if your opponent Call by the Graves your Soul Piercer, you just lose. Like, you have to resolve this card. Like, this card needs to resolve over and over and over again. So if they Called by your Soul Piercer, you just lose the game so quickly. So Ghost Spell is really nice protection for that. So yeah. I think those are all the hand traps I played. If I missed one, the answer is probably obvious. Onto the extra deck. So we played Savage Dragon. This reminds me of Dragon Link. I miss it so much. Excel Synchro Stardust. This is how you're making your Baron most of the time. Because Wakaushi is a 4 tuner and Soul Piercer is a 4 non-tuner. You synchro these two into Excel. You get to rescale your Wakaushi, you get to trigger an effect with Soul Piercer, and then you summon back your Bike, and then you make Baron, and that protects your combo. We played 1 Baguska. This is just for, when you get Max Seed or Drolled, and you have to hard pass because you can't do anything, because this deck has fatal flaws. So the idea sometimes with this deck is that if, like the game plan into these, like, blowout cards is you make a Baguska and you pray that like 2 hand traps plus a Baguska is good enough, and that's just the hope. You just pray that hand traps plus Baguska is good enough, and if it's not, oh well, you lose. Then this one was kind of surprising that people don't know about this package, but a lot of my Twitch chat was kind of surprised about this, and they didn't really understand why it was here. And that was Spriggan's Merrymaker plus Gigantic Champion Sargus. So Sargus is a cool card that can overlay on top of a Spriggan's Xyz monster, like if you have a Spriggan's Xyz. So you can just slap him over the Merrymaker. Merrymaker doesn't do anything for you, but Sargus does. So Sargus is a 28 beat stick that, without detaching a material, can just search any Therion monster, which includes King Regulus. So this is just a very, very nice package to search Regulus, and that helps sometimes, like if Clyforn Genius gets disrupted or something, or you don't want to go into Genius for whatever reason. And so that's one way that you have into Regulus. But the other thing that's cool about it is it lets you make a 4 material Zeus, which does come up quite a bit. So very, very, very strong package, because you get to make the Zeus and then clear a board and then drop a Regulus next to it, and then you can clear a board again and negate something with the Regulus. So very, very strong. Then for the Link monsters, you play 2 of the Scarecrow. You don't need to play 3. The 3rd never really comes up, especially because we play the Tunneler, and the Tunneler recycles the Scarecrow. So you're basically playing 3 as it is. But the Scarecrow, it's a Link 1 monster. You guys get it. Clyfort Genius, this card just searches Regulus. That's all it does. IP Masquerena. So getting into this bottom row is kind of where my deck differs from like some of the ones that you might see like online being shared around right now. I don't play Apollo. I don't think Apollo is a very good card. I don't think it really does much of anything for you. Like Apollo just feels like noob bait a lot of the time. IP Masquerena is way more versatile as a card, because it allows you to go into stuff like Nightmare Unicorn to give yourself more varied interaction. So instead of just having a bunch of negates, you can have a spin and some negates, and spins are better than a negate when you already have a million negates. So like you just don't need more negates. And it's also a generic Link 2, which does come up sometimes. Sometimes you need to make a Link 2, and you don't have Link monster, like you don't have Earth machines exactly. So you need to make a Link 2 because you might have got a nibbed or something, and you need a pendulum summon. So this card's pretty good for that. Ballista, we already talked about it. This card's broken. Sprite Elf, this card. So I think a lot of people are forgetting about Sprite Elf right now because this card wasn't legal in the TCG when we had Super Heavy Samurai. This card's so good in this deck because Bike is a level 2. So this card can basically summon back a level 2 or a level 4 because Bike can manipulate its level. So this card is very, very, very strong. And it also provides protections for your negates. And then the last two are Unicorn and Access Code Talker. So these are the cards that I don't see as many people playing, and I really don't understand it because this deck has like a big number problem. Like if your opponent summons a monster that has big number on it, you kind of struggle. Like this deck kind of struggles to beat over big monsters because it doesn't have a lot of like removal options. So we play removal options that are also like OTK facilitators. So like these cards came up constantly. Unfortunately, during the run, we had to cut them for the choo-choo trains, but thankfully the choo-choo train has big number. So it managed to solve that problem for us, just kind of in a worse way. But highly recommend these. But because my Twitch chat really wants me to re-emphasize this, Choo-Choo Train, best card ever. 124 and 35. Choo-choo. All right, that's all.